G'day, guys. Here I am again. I've finally someone's asked me a question, or I was able to find a spot where somebody asked me a question. Like I'm that naive when it comes to technical internet stuff that I don't even know where to look to read your comments, guys. So the fact that I found a couple on a bit of a Facebook thing, I tried to send my videos to my Facebook list and some of my really old school people who know the truth. Trish, if you see this, shout out. You know what I mean? Those people were there, they know the truth, right? Now, one of those one person, I can't remember their name just off the top of my head, but they said their comment was, great story, can't wait to hear the follow-up. Now, I think I said in the story about getting stabbed that there was a part 2. Now, the part 2 is about, it's within the same 20 minutes, half an hour of part 1, but you know, it's yeah, it gets a bit crazy and it gets a bit silly, but I mean, I'm sure it's, you know, it's in records, it's in, you know, if you can look up Pentridge Hospital, you'll see I'm there, and the person who I will name, his name will be there too. Yeah, so I don't know how else at this point, at these early days, how to track down that information. But I'm sure there's guys out there that have been doing this longer than I have, that have contacts, have ways of working it out, know how to look into public records, etc., etc. But basically, the story is this. I was in ADivision in 1994 and got into a bit of a, I said the wrong thing. I think I was provoked, but I said something a little bit out of whack. And as soon as I said that thing, I knew there would be repercussions. Looking back at it, had I said nothing, there would have been repercussions anyway. But I'm glad I said what I said, and you know, I followed my friend's advice, and yeah, I had to stick fat. Like, even though it didn't work out the best for me, I still had to stick fat. Everyone knows that. So yeah, so the story goes, if you've seen the original story where I talk about getting stabbed in ADivision shower, not realising, thinking I'm getting punched, all that stuff, hitting the ground, seeing my blood in the water and not realising it's blood because it had changed colour. It had changed like a greeny colour in the water. But once I jerried that was my blood, oh, mate, my head exploded. My brain boiled. I just wanted to, you know, I don't know. I just lost my mind. And I jumped up. Here we go. This is what happened. I jumped. Those guys that ran away, you know, the tough guys, they'd ran off. They'd come in, done the business, left me in a pool of claret and bolted. And I turn around, it looked like no one had even realised anything had happened. Not one person had stopped washing their hair. Not one screw had poked his nose in. Not one person heard me go, fuck, ah. But yeah, none of that had happened. But anyway, so they took off. And as soon as I could get to my feet, grabbed my towel, I ran. And at the time in A1, I was living on the top, on the second tier. As you're walking back from the showers, I was up on the left. And just so happens, so were these guys. So anyway, I had seen years and years ago a movie called Bad Boys with Sean Penn. And in that movie, he puts cans of Coke in a pillowcase. And it's a similar situation, you know, pool balls in a sock, all that. But I didn't have any of that shit. All I had was one tin of baked beans and a pillowcase. And I didn't even have time to get the pillow out of the case before, like, I ran into my cell. And as I was in there trying to fucking get organised, boom, the door kicked in and in they came. And I just started swinging. And I think I got the better of them. I know I put one fella in the hospital for quite a while. Never heard or seen of him again. I've heard someone mention his name, from the old days, that he was a hectic guy, but he was basically, he'd pick this person would pick targets, and younger blokes, um, to go in and start the drama. Younger blokes by the name of Luke Hamilton, passed away now, but he's the one who stabbed me in the shower. Luke, passed away in the mid-90s. I think it was from getting stabbed at some party in Preston. Feel free to look it up. I think his name was Jasper or something like that. Anyway, the guy, the kid's name that got stabbed and killed, his name was Luke Hamilton from Preston, and he was on the front page of the Sun. Mate, never made me more happy. I've never seen someone get hurt and murdered and feel happy about it until I saw that. But also, there was another guy involved. Now, this other guy seemed to think he was a lot more important and dangerous than everyone else. He was probably 5 or 6 years older than Luke Hamilton and his other mate, Damien Britton, on your kid. And he steered him into me with all these fake stories to try to stir me up the punch on so they could 3-out me. And all I had ringing in my ear the whole time was, like, I'd only been there a week, 2 weeks, was my friend Matt's advice: as soon as anything happens, mate, just fucking drop what you're doing and go on with it. And that's what I did, man. And anyway, so I give it to, I think it might have been Luke. I give it to Luke with the tin of baked beans. And as I was doing that, fucking Danny Rogers was jumping on my head and kicking me from the side. And so I might have got him a couple of times in the leg or the arm or whatever. But every time I hit him with a tin of baked, it fucked him. Like, you could hear him go, ah! And after half a dozen times, they fucked off. But before they fucked off, they mouthed off like, don't say nothing to the screws, you fucking little dog, rah, rah, rah. And then they ran off. And then the screws came up about half an hour later, said, what happened? I said, what are you talking about? They said, come on, mate, you're obviously in some drama here, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's sweet. Move on, And that was that. And then I had a couple of fellas when I got out of the hospital, because I got out of the hospital before fucking the other two. And when I got out of the hospital and walked back into ADivision, all these boo beds, the same guys that poked their heads in early doors and said, don't say nothing, don't say. Now they're all of a sudden, oh, here he is. Here's a young lunatic. You're mad, but you're all right, mate. You're all right, brother. All trying to get up my ass. I'm thinking, oh, I'm all right. Well, no, I'm all right. I don't need these fucking scumbags telling me I'm all right to know that fucking when I make a decision, it's thought through and it's not stupid.